Imagine waking up to a world where the internet no longer exists. No error messages, no slow connection, no temporary outage is simply gone. Phones still turn on, computers still work, screens light up, but nothing connects. No websites load, no messages send, no clouds respond. The global digital nervous system that humanity built over decades has vanished in a single moment. At first, people assume it is a technical failure, a massive outage, a cyber attack, something that will be fixed within hours. But as time passes, a terrifying realization spreads. There is nothing to reconnect to. The internet is not down. It no longer exists. Communication collapses immediately. Messaging apps, email, video calls, social media all vanish at once. Families lose contact across cities and countries. Businesses are unable to coordinate even basic operations. News stops flowing. Information freezes. Phones ring again for the first time in years. But phone networks are overloaded within minutes. Landlines, long forgotten, are suddenly valuable again. Radio stations experience a surge of listeners, becoming one of the few remaining ways to broadcast information. Commerce enters chaos. Digital payments fail instantly. Credit cards stop working. Online banking disappears. People cannot access their accounts, balances, or transaction histories. ATMs go offline. Entire economies grind to a halt within hours. Stores close not because shelves are empty, but because systems cannot function. Inventory tracking, supply orders, logistics, all depended on internet connectivity. Without it, modern commerce becomes blind and paralyzed. Transportation systems begin to fail. Airports lose access to scheduling, weather updates, and navigation systems. Flights are grounded worldwide. Shipping routes break down. Trains slow or stop as digital coordination disappears. Global trade fractures overnight. Hospitals are hit hard. Medical records stored in cloud systems become inaccessible. Diagnostic tools relying on remote databases stop working. Communication between departments slows dramatically. Doctors are forced to rely on paper, memory, and local knowledge, systems many were never trained to use. Governments struggle to respond. Emergency coordination systems collapse. Digital databases vanish. Public services slow or stop entirely. Without centralized online infrastructure, even basic governance becomes difficult. Education freezes. Online learning disappears instantly. Universities lose access to research databases. Students cannot submit work, access resources, or communicate with instructors. Knowledge that once felt universally available becomes suddenly unreachable. Media transforms overnight. News websites vanish. Streaming platforms go dark. Entertainment libraries disappear. Humanity loses access to an enormous portion of its recorded culture in a single moment. People experience something close to withdrawal. For years, the internet shaped attention, identity, and social interaction. Its sudden absence leaves a psychological vacuum. Anxiety spreads. Silence feels unnatural. Workplaces fall apart. Remote work becomes impossible. Companies that existed entirely online cease to function. Entire industries collapse within days. Digital marketing, e-commerce, online services, cloud-based businesses. The financial sector teeters on collapse. Markets cannot operate without real-time data. Stock exchanges halt trading. Global finance becomes blind, deaf, and slow. Confidence evaporates. As hours turn into days, society begins to fragment. Local communities become more important. Physical proximity replaces digital connection, but the transition is chaotic. Humanity has forgotten how to function without instant global communication. Misinformation spreads through rumor rather than algorithms. Panic grows in the absence of reliable news. Trust erodes as people struggle to determine what is real and what is not. Governments attempt emergency broadcasts through radio and television. Printed notices return. Bulletin boards appear in public spaces. The world begins to resemble an earlier era, but without the preparation or mindset to live in it. the most unsettling realization slowly emerges. The internet was not just a tool. It was the foundation of modern civilization. And now that foundation is gone. This is only the first phase of what happens when the internet disappears forever. As days turn into weeks, the absence of the internet begins to reshape humanity far beyond the initial shock. What first felt like a sudden blackout becomes a permanent condition, forcing civilization into a painful and uneven transformation. Economies struggle to stabilize. Without digital coordination, global supply chains collapse into localized systems. International trade shrinks dramatically. Goods that once moved seamlessly across continents now stall at borders or never leave their place of origin. Prices fluctuate wildly as scarcity replaces efficiency. Entire nations that depended on digital services face economic collapse. Banking systems attempt to recover using analog methods, but trust is fragile. Paper records replace digital ledgers. Transactions slow to a crawl. Fraud increases as verification becomes difficult. Wealth becomes physical again, cash goods land. Inequality deepens as those with tangible assets survive more easily than those whose lives existed mostly online. Technology regresses in subtle but profound ways. Software cannot be updated. Systems slowly decay. Devices still function, but without connectivity, they become isolated tools rather than gateways. Innovation nearly stops. Research slows dramatically without access to shared data, collaboration, or global knowledge networks. Science suffers heavily. Databases vanish. Decades of research stored only online are lost forever. Collaboration across borders becomes rare and slow. Progress that once took months now takes years. Humanity does not return to the past. It enters a stalled present, unable to move forward at the same pace. Social structures change. Communities become smaller, tighter, and more insular. Local news replaces global awareness. People know what happens in their neighborhood, but not in the world beyond it. Cultural exchange diminishes. Languages, customs, and perspectives begin to drift apart again. Education adapts unevenly. Some institutions return to books, lectures, and physical archives. Others collapse entirely. Knowledge becomes unevenly distributed. Access to information, once nearly universal, becomes a privilege again. A new intellectual divide emerges between those with resources and those without. Politics fragment. International coordination weakens without constant communication. Alliances strain. Conflicts escalate more easily when dialogue slows. Propaganda spreads through physical channels, harder to counter and slower to correct. Power concentrates locally rather than globally. Media becomes slower and more limited. Television and radio regain importance, but their reach is narrower. Independent voices struggle without platforms. Censorship becomes easier in some regions, while chaos dominates others. The shared global narrative disappears. Psychologically, humanity undergoes withdrawal and adaptation. Attention spans slowly recover. People rediscover silence, boredom, and unmediated thought. At the same time, isolation increases. Many feel cut off, trapped in smaller worlds. Mental health struggles shift rather than disappear. Generations born after the collapse grow up differently. For them, the internet is a story, not a memory. They learn patience by necessity. They accept delay as normal. But they also inherit a world with fewer opportunities, slower progress, and narrower horizons. Over time, humanity stabilizes, but at a lower level of complexity. Civilization continues, but it is less connected, less informed, and more fragile. The loss of the internet is not the end of the world, but it is the end of the world as it once existed. The final realization settles quietly. The internet did not just connect humanity. It shaped how humanity thought, worked, learned, and remembered. Without it, people survive, but civilization moves slower, sees less, and knows less. And nothing ever truly replaces what was lost.